Shalita is back.
I am back.
You know, sometimes you have to have that time where you need to, you know,
degress.
And
yeah, I needed a break, and I really appreciate you ladies on last week lifting me up in prayer. That really meant something to me to hear that, and I know we're sisters.
That's
right.
That
really meant something to me that you did that. So I really appreciate you. I love you both.
You ain't about to cry now.
No, I'm not gonna cry. I ain't gonna cry. I ain't gonna cry.
Shalita, you were gone out for last week. You cried. I'm telling Dr. Faye not to cry.
Be picking at me.
I was over here boo-hooing last week.
Yeah. But it really means something when your friends call you and they can hear you. You know, they can hear you.
Right.
You know, and both of them heard me. And, Dr. Faye, she prayed with me. And when she was praying, there was a release. And I appreciate you for doing that. I really do.
We know Dr. Faye can pray now.
She's a warrior for real.
She's stretching them edges, baby.
What you say? Okay, she is in the army for the Lord. So I felt that one on that.
Don't start.
No, God is good.
Yeah.
She had me all running through my house. Yes. We took the paint off the walls. We had to pray. God went to war for real. Y'all, we laughing about it, but she went to war for real.
Because I felt your pain. Yeah. Dr. Nikki and I talked about it.
We did.
And we felt your pain. We knew how you felt. You know, I can't say we know exactly how you felt.
To
know that you were hurting.
That's right.
God allows us to impart a word unto him, to lay it at his feet in the throne room. So that's how we have to do. We have to go in.
We have to. And even before we started the show, last week we just went ahead and prayed because, that's what sisterhood is about. Collaboration, trumpet competition, and really being there for one another. Because Shalita, you don't be there for me, Faye. Now, Faye, you know good. Yeah. We be there for each other, and that's what it's all about, coming together collectively. And that's what this show is about. I got to tell y'all something. Guess what?
What?
It's our first month anniversary.
Hey!
Listen, a month last month was our first time doing the show, and look at it. We done matured in so many areas.
Yes, we have.
I was driving here. I said, oh my God, it's been a month.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And we've had some major people on the show. Can we do a couple of recaps of your favorite interview?
All of them been my favorite. I can't even pick one. I'm serious because it might have been my favorite because of the inspiration that came from one. It might have been my favorite because someone shared a testimony that I could relate to. So it was different things for different guests that we had that made them my favorites. I think they're all my favorites.
So then you got to give us one. Faye, I gotta give us one though, Faye, for real.
What's your favorite?
I'm gonna say Cheyenne.
Cheyenne was your favorite?
Cheyenne was my favorite because, but then I gotta say Ro too. Now Ro was my favorite for real because Auntie really, I'm inspired by her because I feel like she's the realest. You know what I'm saying? And she done been through so much to see her come out where she at now. And for me, it's everything. So I would say number one, it was Auntie Ro. But the second one had to be Cheyenne, because she don't tell you, girl. Cheyenne was there when I was at my lowest. Yeah. And honey, I was crying so bad in the show last week. I mean, I couldn't even talk.
Yeah.
But you have to be around people and women, because this is a Christian women talk show. Let's be honest. I'm coming in here eventually. Yeah. We gotta be around women that can iron sharpen iron. And these presidentials that have been coming through here,
amazing.
They have their own story, right?
Yes.
You say that, Grace? You say that, Kingmas?
Yep.
Listen, they have their own story, and I just feel like, even us, we've came a long way. Dr. Faye Shaw got a lot going on with her snapbackologists coming up. Snap.
Yes.
And then, Shalita, you have your home healthcare company coming up. We just got a lot going on, and then I got Like a Boss launching.
You got a lot. Come on down. Think Like a Boss, Herpreneur Network,
Come on.
Her
We
Not at
don't
all.
have time. We gotta be working instead of complaining.
I be calling like, what you doing? Like, I'm working. What you doing? Sleep, I'm working. You know, we all are really doing we doing what God has called us to do and be. So I'm excited. Got the Her Awards coming up to Montgomery.
Oh yes. It's
You ready
to be over the top.
It is gonna be over the top.
Yes.
We got our own custom pink. We finally got our own pink carpet.
Come on now.
We debuted it in Houston.
Yes.
And it's long. And it's long.
And delicious.
And those are my colors.
That's Dr. Nikki's colors.
Look,
It's my colors too.
Mine is purple. I love
I
She
got a
got
twin
pink.
and purple.
She like pink and so she over here and she over there.
Okay. So she right
I'm in
in the middle.
between.
She
Yeah.
right in the middle where she's supposed to be, y'all.
See, purple is royalty.
Yeah.
That's that church folk color.
Yeah, that's okay.
Hey, I'm all about God.
Okay.
Y'all already know I'm a soldier.
Come on.
Our next guest, Lord, she will drench you with purple.
Come on now.
Everything purple. I said, Lord, no, baby, the whole restaurant is in purple.
All right.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Ain't that wrong with
She
it?
represents our colors.
She represents the kingdom of kings.
Come on.
Yeah. Lord.
So let's get our music, Gracie. Let's get the dance. Hey, while we're dancing and celebrating, let's go ahead and like, tag, and share. Take a moment. Go follow my YouTube channel. Listen, this show is just beginning. We're headed to Dallas to Women Evolve.
Yes.
It's going to be amazing. Interviewing so many people. Hopefully, we can get that interview with Priscilla Shire. Now, that would be so much fun.
Yes. That movie was everything.
Okay, let's talk about the movie.
Lord.
Can we talk? Have you seen it? Shalita, please
You
go
gotta
see the
go
movie.
see it. Then we all need to go see it together.
We all need to go see the movie together. Because we was late because of Grace. We was late.
Oh, I wasn't late. Me and my husband was right on time.
It was good, but you know what? I'll say this: when you go see it, bring you some tissue.
Wow.
Because it's gonna have you crying
And laughing.
and laughing.
And have you thinking
Okay.
about discipleship. We don't want to give it away.
Well, I mean, we're not gonna tell you so. But I mean, those
we
things
want to be
are
disciples of Jesus and not just being religious.
That's right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
It's a
Keeping
really
it
good
real.
movie. Another thing is, we got this other movie coming out. I do want to hear your voice about this movie. Can we have a conversation?
Go ahead. What's
It's called.
I think I know what she's gonna say.
It's called The Deliverer.
Oh.
Have y'all heard about that? Hey, audience, go ahead, put in the chat if you saw that movie. I'm gonna tell you something. I think me and Grace was gonna watch the movie. We talked about it, and I went to my living room to push the play button, and as soon as I heard a split second of the music, I shivered, and I clearly heard God said, "Turn it off."
Exactly.
That movie. I was like,
Have you watched it?
I said, "Ooh." Somebody told me about that's Lord. I had to turn it. I can't watch that.
So did you try to watch it?
I tried to watch it. I turned the volume.
See, I know it wasn't just me. As soon as I heard it, I was like, you know what? I don't think, and I'm not a controversial person, but I do believe that Christians should make Christians movies. Are y'all picking up what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I'm not saying Lee Daniels not a Christian. I don't know his belief, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just telling you, if you're gonna tell it, then live that life that you're talking about. Because when you do the math on it and you look at the gender of it, it says it's a horror movie. Oh, I researched.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's a horror movie.
So how in the world?
Facts, but it's a horror movie. Yeah.
So how is that going to get people delivered?
I don't know.
I don't think
Is that the
from what I could see, it's telling people. The beginning of it says something as to forgive me for my sins, but deliver me from the power of sin. I think that was the opening statement.
Well, my question to you, Dr. Faye, what made you turn the TV off?
I turned the volume off and then I just stopped watching it because it was eerie. And then I started saying to God, do I want this in my ear gates? That's what I started saying.
The same thing.
Because I believe in the ear gate, eye gate of what we hear and see. But from what I could see, it's reality for some people.
It is
possessed.
My God.
But you have to come to the realization that it's true, but you have to be equipped to handle
Come on
the
now.
spirits that are out there. So essentially, it's people that are going through those kind of things and they can't figure out why they're going through and why they're doing the things that they're doing.
Okay.
Because they're living a life or have allowed these spirits to come and dwell within. They have given permission.
Come on.
So we do have to know that it's a part of the spiritual world, because we're living in a physical body, we're spiritual beings.
Come on now.
So we can't pretend like it doesn't exist. Because if we pretend like it doesn't exist, that's when the enemy can definitely use us.
That is so good.
She's speaking.
So that's why I think that the movie, but I just didn't want it in my ear gate.
I didn't either.
That was.
Baby, I ain't even get past the little whatever you said. As soon as you said I said click.
Yeah,
and it was over.
I don't watch scary movies. That's not something that I do because I don't believe that God has given us a spirit of fear. So that's why I don't do scary movies. I don't do Chucky. I don't do none of them things or whatever.
The Gremlins either.
Oh, well, I seen the Gremlin years ago. It didn't scare me.
That's scary.
But I don't. But I say overall,
you too. The other thing was scary.
They look like little demons.
But
we little demons there.
But that's what I'm saying. So it's reality.
Right.
Because people are possessed.
They are.
But you have to be capable and you have to be called to deliver people from that.
I agree.
So, yes, that's what I think about the movie.
Okay.
But I don't like movies that have cussing and all of that stuff. So that'll make you turn the ear gate part off because I get up and walk out on movies that have that.
In a second. Okay, so one more thing. We do have an honorary herpreneur, which is, Yolanda Adams. It's her birthday.
Yes.
So we want to say happy birthday. She claims to remember.
What she is.
Yes.
We
you
send
are.
her to you. And we love you, Yolanda Adams.
I'm going to send her this clip. We're excited about Yolanda. We love Yolanda Adams. So we want to definitely wish you happy birthday. 63. She don't even look like she's 50.
Good. Look good.
She looks so good.
Yes. Hey, well, I'm not there yet. But Lord, I thank you.
All right, Gracie. Take it away. We're about to bring in our next guest. Listen, y'all, go ahead and like, tag, and share. Listen, go ahead and tag some people to the live. We're giving away some t-shirts tonight.
Give away some t-shirts. And let's get up to 150 shares, ladies and gentlemen. We want to get to 150 shares. We can do that if you share 5 times.
Yep.
Tag 5 friends, right?
Tag 20.
Tag 20.
Whoever tagged the most win a shirt.
Come on now. Let's help us.
Let's go.
And a herpreneur bag. We got these new bags. Y'all don't get the bags.
Yes.
So the person who tagged the most, I'm going to get Takima to ship you your bag and your t-shirt, okay? Let's take the show to another level.
Yes.
This is our 1 month anniversary.
Yes. Help us out,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen.
Take it up. All right, we are back. She is here. Welcome to the Convo. Pastor Genevelyn Crawford, we're happy to have you tonight. Yes, listen, she's getting this presidential award in a couple of weeks.
Lifetime Achievement Award.
Listen, she paved the way for so many women. So tell the people who you are. I know the ladies got questions, so we're going to need her research.
We're going to do my research.
I am Pastor Genevelyn Crawford, pastor Back to Basics Ministries here in Montgomery, Alabama. I also own a restaurant, Sweet Juice Restaurant and Catering in Opelika, Alabama, and my husband and I own a courier service right here in Montgomery, Alabama, Road Run Express Delivery Service. I'm a mother, a grandmother, sister, cousin, all of that.
All of that. Listen, I promise you, go Sweet G's, that day go cornbread, that's my, to this day, it's my son.
Oh,
Y'all,
we
listen.
got to go visit.
And she bakes amazing cakes, and her tilapia is every started in the restaurant business? I never asked that question.
Well, I think for years, I always wanted to do it, but raising a family, it was difficult. And even the children kept saying, well, why don't you do it? And I knew I couldn't with 3 children at home with different activities. So it was always in the back of my mind. So prior to COVID, I had been nursing for, I don't know, about 30 years. And I said, well, maybe it's time for a change.
Mm-hmm.
And then COVID hit, and it really convinced me it was time for a change. So after nursing 33 years, I pursued my dream of opening a restaurant. And it happened.
And it's still happening.
And it's still
Yes.
happening.
And I had the opportunity to go to the grand opening. We had a whole Holy Ghost party.
Come on.
So before anybody even came in the place, she had already saturated that place with the glory of God. She had her cover come in and lay hands on the place. It was just an experience I'll never forget, because she really was showered with so many blessings. People was coming in from all over just to celebrate her on that day. And it was just beautiful. So come on, shoot me with your questions. I know you got yours.
Well, Pastor Crawford, I went to YouTube and looked at an interview that you had given. I think it was on last year. And I want you to tell us about your testimony and how you came to ministry.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Well, let's start with this. I grew up in the Baptist church. So if you grew up in the Baptist church, you already know what they taught us as little girls: women don't preach.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, so I don't know, for all those years, that was in the back of my mind. So I think around the age of 34, God began to deal with me. Although I knew all along, you know, I thought maybe I'm just supposed to help with the usher ministry, the praise team, whatever. But at the age of 34, he really started dealing with me. And my thing to him was, women don't preach in the Baptist church. And I guess he said, okay, so things started happening. I was a nurse at the time. I think I was working PRN, and you know, you could work whenever you wanted to. Well, the hours started getting cut. I couldn't get work. And I was like, okay, God, what's going on? And a couple of other things happened. But the one thing that really convinced me, my daughter was 3 years old, and she was going to preschool, and one of the teachers asked us one day, have we ever had her eyes checked? And we said no, and you know, she was explaining that when they put the food on the table, she does that. And I always thought she was smelling her food, and I used to get at her about doing that. So we took her to the eye doctor here in Montgomery, and they kept her back there for a good while, and they came out, and they said, we made an appointment for you to take her to Birmingham. And you know, as a nurse, all these things are going through my mind. Does she have a brain tumor? What's going on? And so we took her to Birmingham to the specialist, and she told us her vision was 120 over 80, I believe it was. She said in 2 years she'll be blind. And you know, I rebuked that devil right there.
I'm telling
Right.
you.
So all the way home, we didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. My husband didn't say anything. And gave me time to think. And I'm back there bargaining with God. You know, God, don't take her outside. You know how we do it.
Yes.
So anyway, when we got home, I talked to my husband, and I said, we need to go see Pastor. And I said, we need to do altar call. That was on a Friday. We went to visit him on Saturday. We in the Baptist church. But I've always believed what the word of God said. If there are any sick among you, take them to the elders, let them, you know.
Yes.
So we went to Pastor. When Otis called, he knew something was wrong because he knew us like that. And he said, sure, we can do that. And as they prayed and laid hands on her, God said she's not going to go blind. They're not going to have to do the surgery at 18. I'm going to heal her eyes, and she's going to evangelize throughout the world. That was at 3 years old. She is now 31. She is not blind. At the age of 14, her eyesight was 30/20. The doctor didn't understand what was happening with her because they thought she would have been blind by then. But that act kind of thrust me into what God was calling me to do.
Wow, that's amazing. That is so amazing.
Yes, that is. So, how long have you been in ministry?
Since 1998.
Okay. Wow. So, have you encountered people that felt like, oh, you can go sit down. We don't want you to come here. We don't want you in the pulpit.
Oh yeah, yes, but God sealed the deal. When I accepted my call, God had already sealed the deal. He said, don't worry about what man would say. I did truly call you, so you don't even have to worry about any of that. I've been to churches where friends who were pastors invited me to the pulpit and people got up, this lady right here shouldn't be up here, all of that. It didn't bother me, but it bothered my husband because he didn't understand. But like I said, none of that ever bothered me because God had sealed the deal once I accepted my call.
Amen.
So I don't care what man says. They say women can't pastor, and now I heard some about women can't be bishops, all of this stuff. And I think to myself, how are they going to feel when they face God on that day? How are they going to feel? How do we know what God would say or feel about different people? I just think that in the church, not just women preachers, but how we treat regular people, or what we might see as not regular people, people that come to church to be saved or helped and they're not dressed right and we look at them funny or we want to throw a shawl over them. We have got to stop that in the church.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter, what man says. I know that God truly called me.
Amen.
I'm glad to hear you say that your husband is supportive. Is he in the ministry also?
He's a deacon.
Oh, no, that's awesome, because everybody's not called just because you're married doesn't mean that your spouse is called because God calls you. So.
Right, and I understand that, but you know how some people hide behind, so that's why I said it like that.
So my question to you, how do you balance being the head of the church and your husband happen to be under you? How do you balance that?
Well, it's totally different. I mean, at the church, I'm the pastor. He understands that. At home, he's the priest, and I understand that.
Right.
I know for a fact that a lot of women pastors don't have that order.
Right.
And they are out of order because you can't go home and say you're going to run the house when the man is the priest of your home.
That's right.
So you have to submit to him at home. And as long as I've pastored, my husband has not had any problems with that at church.
So how do you balance being an owner of two businesses and pastor of a church?
It's difficult.
Okay.
But, God is in the center, and we always keep God in the center. We never do anything without him, and he has continued to give us the strength. Even now, we're going through a little something. We're working night and day, but we're believing God, and we're trusting God because, God is not a person or a spirit where what he says return to him void, or neither will he be embarrassed. People wait for us to fail so they can talk about it. So it's another problem that Christian or church people have. They wait for us to fail so they can talk about it, but God will not have his children fail.
Come on now.
Are we going to have some light afflictions? Yes, we are.
That's right.
But we have to stand on the word, and through all of these years, I've always stood on the word. And even when a little doubt creeps in, as David say, I've hid the word in my heart, and I pull on that word that I need at that time, and I just keep going.
Another thing she's a part of Global. Tell us, what do you do for Global Minute on
I
fellowship?
am the state leader for the women's division of Global.
which is impressive.
What's global?
So Global is Bishop Neil Ellis's fellowship. He's out of Bahamas.
Okay.
And so he has his own fellowship. There's a lot of people that's connected to Global. But for her to be over the whole state of Alabama, that says a lot. And Neil Ellis, one thing I say, and I know him personally, him and his wife, they walk with the spirit of excellence, integrity, all of that stuff. So when I heard you had got that promotion, I'm like, okay. I didn't even know I didn't even know. So when I read about it, I was like, okay, this is good because, you know, all of the women of the fellowship in the state of Alabama reports to her.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty big.
That is awesome.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Well, one of the things because I was on I was researching. So one of the things that you said was you didn't really want a big church. You know, it didn't matter about the numbers because you wanted people when they came in, you wanted to be able to see them and see when they're hurt. So, and a lot of people, you know, a lot of churches, they look over that. You know, they go about the service and somebody's sitting there hurting and they're crying out and nobody sees them. So can you expound on that? Why is that so important? Because when we come in, we come in hurt, but we want to come out free.
Right. Well, I can relate on a personal level because when my husband and I first got married, we were a part of a large congregation. After being there for years, you know, he was chosen as a deacon. We were on the deacon and deaconess board. And then I, you know, went into ministry, but there were many Sundays I went to church hurting and nobody saw me. And that was one of the things, that was my challenge to God. If you want me to pastor, don't let people come in hurting and I don't see them. Mm-hmm. Don't allow people to come in hurting and they leave hurting. That was my bargain with him in becoming a pastor. Because when you go to a large church, and a lot of people do it on purpose because they can hide.
Exactly.
You can get lost in the crowd.
Exactly.
And you don't get what you need. I don't have anything against large ministries, but at the same token, many people are going in hurting and they're going home hurting. I have a desire to see a person, to look at their heart and look through their eyes and see, you know, that what's going on and what can I do to assist them? What can the church do to, you know, we can pray for people all day, but if we're not meeting that need, what good is that doing?
That's true. And we're gonna take a break right there. Come on, let's get us a commercial in, Gracie. Let's play some music, and we're gonna come back with Pastor Genevelyn Crawford. We'll be right back. Let us know when we're back, guys. Mm-hmm. All right, we're back. Listen, we're excited to be here. We got Pastor Genevelyn Crawford in the building at the Convo Christian Talk Show, Dr. Nikki Ziegler. We got Dr. Fayshaw Jenkins and Coach Shamita Freeman.
Dr. Nikki, you are sick.
I like having a good time. We got so much to laugh about. With girls, we like to laugh, okay?
I don't want to forget because we left off with you talking about the big churches. You know, I know because I felt like that. I went to a couple of the bigger churches here in Montgomery when I retired from the military, and I was like, seeing the pastor in Walmart, and he didn't know who I was. And not that somebody has to know me because I'm great or something like that. But I wanted.
You like, come on now, baby.
No, seriously, I just felt like you avoid accountability. If you want to do what God has called you to do, I think that you want the accountability. You want your pastor to know you when they see you. When you go to, this is just my opinion. Right. When you go to a bigger church, the pastor don't know you can't walk by in a store. You can do whatever you like or do it. You have no accountability in that. And yes, some of them break it down into small
I would say they do
groups
small
and
groups
stuff
now.
like. Yeah, you do have small groups, but I just never. I just always enjoyed having been a member of a smaller church. And I mean, even if it was 150, 200 people, I just thought that was the place for me. So I feel like you. I want to be able to connect with people and know their heart posture, know how they're feeling that day, know when I look out there and see them that they feel broken, and I can get up and just go over there and walk to them and sit down next to them and hug them, and they'll start crying and they can just talk to you. So yeah, I think it's having a personal relationship with the members versus just walking around, just them hearing you and you not knowing them.
I think it's all about everybody has a different assignment.
Yeah.
You know, me working with Dr. Bynum, me working with Bishop Jakes. You know, especially Bishop Jakes. I mean, he has so many members. There's no way he can know everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, it's that individual person. Like you said, what is it that you need? Now, some people are mature enough to say, you know what? I'm going up and get my word. I'm going home. But for me, I'm like you, Faith. Like every church I went to, oh, he gonna know me. Because not for attention, but mainly every church I went to, I ended up working for the pastor. Now I end up marrying a pastor. So, every church, I cannot name a church that I was a member of that I wasn't on the staff because of my assignment that God has given me. But I'm with you. Like I need my pastor to know me so he can know what I need to grow myself. But once again, even when I talk to some of the herpreneurs, I ask them because a lot of them go to mega churches. I'm like, how do you do that? You know what I'm saying? Because I'll be lost in the sauce. And I will feel like as if I'm missing something or I'm not connected the way I need to be connected. Yeah. So I think it's all depends on that person's mature level. That's what I would say. And then two, it all depends on what is it that they need in the season that they're in. Yeah. So even when me and Bishop, our church is small, but I like it like this. Because I'm able to touch you. I'm able to pull up at your house if I need to. I like this weekend, we're going to one of the church member daughter's football game. And then they giving her game going to our kids' game. So it's all about making sure that you, even as a pastor, meeting people where they are. So I know she wants you to answer a question. You want to re-ask the question, or did you ask?
Oh, no, I was just agreeing with her about how it is when you're in a bigger church versus a smaller church. You want to make sure that you have that connection with your members. So I totally get it.
Or even if it is a mega church like Dr. Nikki was saying, I guess it's the maturity of the person, but also if back to the point, if you have somebody walking in and you know that they're broken, they're looking for God that day. You know what I mean? And if the pastor doesn't see that person, somebody, an intercessor, somebody can see that person and be able to minister to them back to what God needs for them to hear that day. You know what I mean? So I get, I heard what you were saying in that interview, and I feel like that's so important because all of us have done that at some point, gone into church, and we're looking for God that day. We need an answer. We need a word. You know what I'm saying? We need a touch. We need something. We know we need something. And so when we get there, and not to get it and walk out the same way, that it does something to you. Not necessarily because you went to that church that day, but it's just, God, you didn't meet me. You know what I mean? So I think that is important to have people in place, even if it is a larger church or, a mega church, just to have somebody there to see people, because that's what God, that's the purpose of the church. That's the purpose. It's a hospital, to get us to a place where we can develop in the walk. And so how can we do that if nobody is able to help us? Yeah.
But I agree, like what Dr. Nikki said, with the larger churches that have the different groups and teams and everything. But I think what you were saying as a pastor, you wanted to have that personal relationship with the members. You wanted to be able to connect with them. So I just think it's just our preference. Like with our church, we had 150, maybe 200. COVID came, numbers went down, but God is not just looking at numbers. He's looking at, my husband's a bishop. He's looking at us doing the work, giving the word, teaching, and not just preaching. We preach so that people will come to know Jesus, but we teach so that people that are saved can live a life that's worthy of the calling of their salvation that they've accepted. So I think preaching and teaching is different in how you draw people in and how you keep people close to God and how they can connect to God. So I just say us personally, we like you. We like being able to connect with people on that level. But even when it was 150 or more, we still had to have teams at some point in time. But those people grew with us. So they still, they know us. So I think even with the larger church with Bishop Jakes, who Dr. Nikki worked for, is he started from that point and it just got bigger and bigger. So he knows his group leaders. He knows, you know what I'm saying? But as it gets bigger, then the least amount of people that he knows and able to touch. But it starts out like, you know, it starts out personal, a little closer. But I personally like that because like I said, I like having the pastor to know who I am and I can be accountable, not just to a man, be accountable to another man, but be accountable to God. But we have to be able to lift each other up and hold each other up. We have somebody that we can talk to and say, I'm falling in this area. And they say, yeah, or they say, and they see me and they say, you're doing wrong. According to the word. And the word is what measures us. They don't have to, we oftentimes think, oh, we're judging somebody. No, we don't have to judge somebody. You just open up the word and it is in the word. And the word measure. And if we can't accept that, how do you feel about that? Do you agree that the word measure us and we're not judging each other when we bring the word to someone when they're living contrary to what the word of God says?
I agree with that. I think the problem comes in is how we go to that person. Sometimes we can go to that person judgmental even though we're using the word of God. So we have to be careful. Even Jesus said, with love and kindness have I drawn them. So we have to love people. We have to love them back to where they need to be. So, and a lot of times they might say, oh, you just judge me. The Bible says you can't judge. But oftentimes we're not. They know they're already doing wrong, but with love and kindness, that's how we draw them.
So my question to you, what would you tell your 18-year-old self?
That's a good question. I think I would have found a mentor once I went to college. Because, when we grew up, once they got you graduated and off to college and, they thought they had done their job. But I think if I had a mentor, probably would have made a few different decisions. But a mentor is very important. My father wasn't in my life. Okay. So I think with the mentor, I would have made a few different decisions. I don't think I made really bad decisions because I've always been a church girl. Went to college, didn't do all the partying, was in chapel every Sunday morning at 8, and I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not perfect. Because I was raised in the church by my grandmother. That was just me. That was part of life. so I didn't really, you know how people say they might square away, but they'll come out. I didn't do that. But, you know, there are some choices that I made that I probably would do different had I had a mentor saying, and I know my colonel in ROTC, he tried his best to keep me on that side, but I got out, and, you know, years later, I wish I had stayed in and did the 20 years.
Because you would have been an officer, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That was probably one decision that I would have did different.
Wow. You was an officer. I didn't know that. Okay.
So how old are your children? I'm sorry.
My oldest is 35, my daughter is 31, and my baby is 25.
Okay. So you're an empty nester.
I am.
Oh, okay. I am.
Say, I know that empty nesting. What does that feel like? Like you're always trying to find something to do, or
Oh, man.
She's
when you're at home, I mean, it just feels to me because I'm an empty nester, my husband and I. And so I'm a business owner too, but when I'm in that quiet time, I'm looking for somebody to come down the hall or say mama or something. You know, it's that part.
You know. Hold up now.
No, ma'am.
But I understand what you're saying, because my grandson was with me how long? Like 10 weeks. He was the entire summer when school started. Yeah, because he was in here. We had to, you know, he had to go everywhere with me. He said, "Are we going home yet?" No. Okay. Are we going home now? No. But when he did leave, I cried. Because, yeah, it was just like,
She didn't have to talk to them.
yeah, I ain't have him to talk
He should be
to.
busy.
Yeah, he was busy. And it's just like, man, the house is quiet again.
Yeah.
You know, it's no, get up, go to bed. What you watching?
Watch this, y'all. So you trying to be Sarah, isn't it?
Huh?
You trying to be Sarah?
No, I'm just saying. She's so funny.
You know that because she gonna keep you going.
But yeah, it is different. So when you're used to not, how old, I have the godkids and the bonus children come over every other weekend, and sometimes they miss it, and it's quiet. It's really quiet. It's different. So sometimes I like to hear the noise and the rumble going, and sometimes I'm like, they drive me crazy.
I know.
And I want my house to be clean, and I want to just sit and relax, you know. So yeah.
Now Angela House is in the comments. She said good questions. I don't know if she was saying good question for the Sarah. Or is it the good question about her being 8?
You a quiz doctor.
I have fun.
You have to watch Dr. And she says that I'm the comedian.
Now, Faye, it's my night tonight, but every other night you done had us cracking up for real. So don't believe it. Thank you, Shalita.
Y'all don't have Pastor Crawford believing me.
She coming to the Her Award. She gonna see some.
You gonna
That's
get the
something
meat.
totally different.
You gonna get the meat.
I'm gonna look at her. I'm gonna say what I told you. This lady is off the chain. Speaking of the Her Awards, you got the phone call about the presidential. What did you say to yourself?
I was shocked. I was, you know, I was honored.
But you've given back so much though.
I know, but I don't do it for.
You don't do it for attention.
Yeah.
I get it.
And we've done so much for the community, and just to be recognized for it's a blessing, you know.
She probably got that photo store. Google it. I know you. She like, let me see this real.
Investigating my coach.
But it is an honor, and yeah, I believe I deserve it. But like I said, I don't do things for show. I do it because God tells me to do it.
Right.
If God tells me to do something, I'm gonna do it. My husband looked at me sideways sometimes, but he's learned over the years when I say I'm gonna do something, he don't stand in the way. So yeah, it is an honor.
But I love what you said. You said I deserved it. You know, we've tried so many times to tell these women they deserve it, because some of them didn't even realize. You know, they knew they did the work, but they couldn't fit their mouth and say, "Oh, I deserve it." Like I'm saying, and to me, you have to accept that for yourself. I can't make you. You know what you've done for this community. You know the times where you sacrificed, and it was there for people who did deserve for you to be there for, or who, you know what I'm saying, who took your kindness for weakness. I mean, you know the stuff you have endured being a servant, and also, you know, you and Shalita, they're on the stage. We're natural givers. We're gonna give our clothes off our backs if we need to. So I feel like, you know, who you are. I've seen this over the years. I think I've been knowing you for the last 14 years, and you've always gave. You know what I'm saying? And so when God told me to come, because I personally called you myself and was like, I just think you need to be there because I know your heart posture, and that's what it's all about. You know, when you give, you don't give to expect anything back. And those are the people who I would know. You know, everybody else had their own category, but for me, I wanted to find people who I know gave with no strings attached.
Yeah, they were genuine.
Yes, even with me, genuinely, I think the week of my ordination. The week of my ordination, I didn't have anything to wear. What she said? She said, I didn't have anything to wear. And she called me and she said, "What you gonna wear?" I said, "What I'm supposed to wear?"
Oh my goodness.
She went online. She asked me what size I had, what size I wore, and when I came home, it was at the door.
Wow.
I didn't ask for it.
Yeah.
But see,
She's a solutionist.
yes, so people bless you because they want to.
That's right.
Yes.
Or either because God has allowed them to be a blessing and they heard God say, bless that person.
Or
So-
you don't want her husband to spring her off for not being in the right attire.
She,
That's true.
but this is another thing. That, you know, I looked at her side out on this one. Where your stockings? I said, "Oh,
See, but you know,
But
you
watch
might
this.
Oh, shoot. I think
I
I want some stockings on too. When
But
I'm
you
in
know what?
church.
But I gotta be honest with you. Ever since that day, I hadn't worn stockings in years. Cause Veronica made me wear them. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But
That's your mom.
that's mama.
Yeah.
Veronica. But what happened was the character came back.
Come on now.
And I was just like, and I thought about it, I said, well, mama did. Okay. And honestly, I wear my stockings. I wear them all the time. But it takes water to reroute or replenish or restore. Just a sprinkle of water. Somebody else might have put that seed in. My mom was the seed. She put it in the ground. I mean, I had it on stockings, right? But sometimes you forget where you come from.
Yeah.
And you need to be rerouted back to what you know you're supposed to do.
Come on now.
So I got, so listen, so I got stockings for months now. I mean, I got plenty now. All because she had to reroute me back to what I know I'm supposed to do. But the lesson to the problem is that you got to stay teachable.
Yes, and I would add this to it. When we as females in the ministry, when we know better, we should help each other be accountable for a standard. I think with her saying, well, no, I want you to be in the right attire.
Yeah.
I think it's true because if we know that another lay woman
Come on now.
is not, that may not know the standard or may not be understanding, then that's when we reach out and we teach.
But that's,
Yeah, you said we
we
teach.
talk
That's
about
what
it
I
all the
said.
time.
Yeah.
Who's dining at your table?
Come on.
You have to have a wise woman, or for me, I know other wise women dining at my table. I have to have that because I'm still new as a pastor. I'm still new. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta have people say, oh, don't say that, don't do this. You know, even when I minister on, like, you know, I minister normally once or twice a month. I'll call Apostle Lisa and say, okay, go back and watch what I said. Tell me what I said wrong, critique me, because I already know husband gonna be like, okay, as long as you gave me a scripture, because he's a word man, okay, I'm good with that. But when you have other wise women in your life that can hold you accountable, they're there to help coach you, guide you, train you on what you should and should not do, what to wear, what not to wear. And I tell now people who I mentor, if you got to change your clothes 4 times, or if you put on something you feel like I don't think I should wear, don't wear it. That's a sign right there. Now you go ahead and wear it anyway. You out of order. And I get that from Dr. Maya. When I worked for her, she didn't play that. She never. You cannot ever show me a video where she showed her body. She never showed her body. She always covered herself up because, like she said, when she's up here preaching, it ain't about the outfit.
Distractions.
It's a distraction. I need you to focus in on this word and what God has for you. That's what I was taught when I was under her leadership. But you did that for me, and I appreciate that. Because it brought me back to the basics, baby.
Yeah, I think that's awesome because a lot of times everybody's not going to have the same standard. And some people are going to say, I'm going to pick this and I'll take your advice on that, but I'm going to do just this. Me, when I wear my clergy attire, I have it zipped up. I have it on. I can't stand to take, when I just wore a single tab before I became a pastor, I was just a minister. I'm not taking the tab out, wearing it open. I put it all on, jacket, everything, the stockings, the out changes, the sides or whatever. Because when I was in the military, I had to wear my uniform to standard. I was that walking AR 670-1. Okay. So when I put on God's clergy attire, that's a regulation. But when I put it on, I wear it like that. And you won't see me with the eyeshadow and all that stuff because that's my choice. Especially when I'm wearing clergy attire. I don't want, I wear foundation, but I don't wear the eyeshadow. I don't wear red lipstick. I keep it toned down. I got you better about that. And so, no, I'm saying that's just me. That's something that I have chosen to do that I feel that God has called me to do. I want to be just basic. I do. I want to be basic on the first Sunday. And it's just what God has called you to do. Everybody, God is telling everybody, don't eat before communion. Fast out. You know, it's different things that people take. So you got statutes and commandments, and every statute is not for everybody. So you see what I'm saying? So we'll learn along the way, and we can take advice from people, and God may say, oh, that's not for you. That was for them. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I hold for me as a standard when I'm in clergy attire. I mean, you see me with the glitter and all that stuff on right now, but I'm totally a different way because I am one to glorify God. So I tone me down when I'm wearing it. So that's my choice. But I know I'm all over the place, but you said back to the basics. Somebody else said, why did you name the church, or did you name the church Back to the Basics?
I was doing ministry before I became a pastor, and when God gave me the ministry, I prayed about the name, and I prayed, and He said Back to the Ministry, and I laughed. I said, that's not the name of no ministry. And I prayed some more, and I prayed, and He kept giving me that name. So I finally said, okay, God. So I named the ministry Back to Basics. And then when we became the church, we just rolled it over. And after several years of the church, he revealed it to me that, you know, and he showed it to me with my logo, but he really revealed it that we have to get back to the basics. You know, and the logo has a Bible, an eagle, and an old church. We have to get the family back in the church. We have to teach the Word of God, the true Word of God, and the eagle is our strength that's going to carry us through. We've gotten so far from the basics. it's basic. You know, when we were growing up, the whole family went to church. You didn't say, I'm not going to church today. You didn't even think that in your mind. And we went to church some Sundays 2-3 times, but we never said, I'm not going.
Mm-hmm.
So that is basic. If we look at the world today, and we look at the world back in the 60s where the family was a unit, the family was the strength of the church. The church was the strength of the community. So now we have churches on every corner, 3 or 4 on some. But where is the strength of the community? We talk about crime in our city, but where is the church? What are we doing to help decrease crime in the community?
Wow.
So, you know, the church is just a church right now. It's where I see, and God has given me a vision for this community. And I'm praying that it comes to pass soon, because we have to do something to help crime in this city. It's not the mayor's fault. People want to put everything on the mayor. It's not. The church is the strength of the community, so we have to get back to the basics.
I'll say this, I think churches have really become an entertainment.
True.
I really believe that. I was at an event, me and Kanaya, maybe about 4 or 5 months ago, and one of the pastors here locally walked up to me, gave me a hug, and so Kanaya said, well, who is that? I told her who he was, and he heard me. She turned back around, he said, you don't know who I am? And she said, no. He said, well, I'm the pastor of Montgomery. I said, so you the pastor of Montgomery, then who am I?
Wow. Yes.
Who is this person? Who is that person right there? Who is that? I said, we all are pastors of Montgomery. We have became to be so popular. I gotta be the main attention. I gotta be this. That ain't God. It has become so much entertainment. It's ridiculous.
And that's the reason why some people go into ministry. But like you just said, they want this stage. They want a stage to perform, you know. So were they called? You know, did they just go? Were they chosen, or did they just go? So I like what you were saying about the integrity of the church. You know what I'm saying? Standing on the integrity and bringing it back to the basic, you know, because, you know, that's the word. We got to take it back to the word. And a lot of churches are getting out of that. They just, you know, preachers are preaching from what they think and not from the word. They're putting their sauce on it, but it's not the word. So why is that important for us to stay integral in the word? You know, you keeping the character of God in the church, you know, and not just making it a performance or putting on a show. You know what I mean? Why is that so important? Why, you know, to you?
Well, to me, none of us know who's watching us from afar.
That's good.
And we have to be mindful that somebody may be watching us on Facebook on Sunday morning. They may see us out in Walmart and we just kind of miss, you know, we're not the person that they see on Sunday morning on Facebook. So we have to really preach and teach and walk the walk that we're preaching and teaching about, because people are watching us. Even if somebody tells you, well, Pastor Crawford did this and she did that, but until you learn Pastor Crawford for yourself, you don't know that. But if you see Pastor Crawford out and she doing something that that person told you she did, then you're going to say, oh, they were right. So what does that do for me and the church if my integrity is out of attack?
Yeah.
So we have to, as pastors and even as believers, we should always, because now, you know, this young generation is on this, why do I have to go to church? And we have to show them. There are some young pastors coming out now that is related to some of them, but there's a whole generation of young people saying, I don't have to go to church. And scripture tells us that we should not forsake the assembly to be together. That's what the word says.
Yeah.
So somehow we have to save a generation, the next generation coming on after us. We have to teach those that are still going to church so that they can save their generation. I was telling y'all about my daughter. She's made some choices that, she was not reared, but I held on to that word that God gave me when she was 3 years old, and she's 31 now, and it's beginning to manifest. But if you don't hold on to the word of what God says, no matter what your children look like, no matter what they're doing, you gotta hold on to the word. And she recently moved to Houston, and I listen to Pastor Keon sometimes on Instagram. And I said, well, have you found his church? And she said, I didn't know he was in Houston. When she went back that Sunday, she went to church, and she made a post that God confirmed everything that she was wondering about, or which way should she go. And she's been going every Sunday. She hadn't been to church in years. Yeah. So I know that when God tells you something, just hold on to that word.
Come on now.
Because she gonna be evangelizing throughout this country.
Come on, you better speak it out. Come on now.
I said it.
Come on now.
And I see it manifesting right in front of my eyes.
My God.
Our relationship is rebuilt.
That's awesome.
So sometimes we just have to sit through it and wait through it on God's timing.
And you know what? I just talked about this on Clubhouse a couple days ago. God told me as parents, we cannot continue to parent our children. We gotta coach them. A lot of us, we all have adult children here on this stage, but even the ones who's listening, we gotta learn how to train and coach our kids. We've done the parenting. Once they get a certain age, you can't be going off on your kids and trying to dictate, because what's gonna happen, that spirit of disobedience, that spirit of rebellious sneaks in. I'm grown, I'm gonna do what I want to do. So we gotta make sure we don't lose our children. We better fight. I'm fighting for mine every chance I get. So I'm gonna fight for mine. But as we draw this to a close, let's go ahead and take a commercial. We'll come back and just thank everybody for watching, and then we'll take it from here. Let's go ahead and clap it up for Pastor Genevelyn Crawford. Hey, this Dr. Nikki back with the Convo Christian Talk Show with my girls, Dr. Faisal Jenkins and Coach Shalita Freeman. So how was the show?
Amazing. Phenomenal. Marvelous. It was. I enjoyed the conversation because it was real talk.
Oh yeah, that was real talk.
Real talk. I think what I got out of it in the end is we, the church, we the people, we have to tell other people about Jesus. Repent. The kingdom, Jesus is coming back again. We have to build the kingdom, and God is using us. We can't dilute the truth. We can't just give a watered down word. We have to give people the truth.
And that's
no entertainment.
But you know, that's what the movie was talking about. If you watch the movie to the end, he talked about that. You know, we have a specific assignment to lead people back to Christ. What are we doing? Are we starting small groups? Are we at our schools, ministry? You know, everywhere we go, we work for God full time. 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. We work for God full time. We got to make sure our light shine so we can draw people back to Him.
Yeah, it was a good conversation. I appreciate you, Pastor Crawford, and especially your integrity about the word. You know what I'm saying, about God. You're intentional about God and your assignment and what He has called you to do. And I appreciate that because we don't, you know, a lot of times we don't see that. You know what I'm saying? And so to be authentic in that, I really appreciated, you know, what she said on tonight. And you know, of course, your life lives that. You know, she's walking it. And so I really appreciate that and what you're doing in the community. And again, congratulations on your award. I can't wait till we get to present that to her on September 20th.
Amen. So speaking of that, guys, listen, get your tickets today. Tickets are selling. They're selling. So don't wait until the last minute to get your tickets. It's going to be amazing. Swag, is it called Swag? The dancers? SCAD, SWAD. SWAT girls will be performing at the Her Awards. What's it called? Swan.
Yeah, Quan. I'm saying Quan.
Quan is her name.
Yes.
Okay, got it. And we definitely got to bring her the girls on the show. I think that'll be fun to get the girls on the show. And so I'm excited about that. We also got Charles Brasher. Everybody pretty much knows Charlotte Montgomery. He'll be co-hosting with Dr. Fayshaw Jenkins. Shalita is doing the pink carpet, man.
Pink carpet. I'm taking Tori Hammond's spot. Oh my God, Tori, I'm gonna call you.
Right, call her. Because Tori do what she do, but you're gonna be amazing. So she tried to, that nigga, I don't know about that. I said, you doing that? Yes.
Oh, she got it. She pulls you.
You got you.
She'll pull you, right?
You can walk in the assignment. You know, just like you was telling with Pastor Crawford. You know, when she was called, she said, I know I've been called. And I know what I have to do. We can't back down from what we've been called to do. And you have been asked, and you've been voluntold, and you gonna do that. Girl.
She gonna have so much fun doing it. And then also, you know, it's always an opportunity to give more visibility not only to you, but also home health care services. Shalita actually owns her own home health care services. And she helps people who want to start their own business in the home health care field. So you better work, look, how she said, work it. You better work it.
Wait it. I sound like you know.
Work it so well.
We all sound like you yourself. Now, wait.
So another thing we're doing is on the 21st, on the 1st, we're going to Brewer Heights for the Hurricane Experience. Listen, it's going to be awesome. Stephanie Williams is, y'all know that's Thunderbolt. She going to preach the house down. We got 2 major panel discussions happening. Michelle Bonner coming from St. Louis. She's doing a panel with us. And we got Linda Dunn there. Listen, you know, Linda Dunn always cuss up. She said, listen, I'm headed to the herpreneurs. I love them. So we got her coming in. She's doing a panel with us. LaShonda Brown is going to be on the stage. A lot of the herpreneurs are flying in from all over the country that weekend. And so from that Thursday into that Saturday, we have a lot planned for the network. The magazine release party on Thursday night. Yes, and so we'll have that flyer done this week. Shout out to Barbara. And so we're excited all things her that weekend. We're trying to teach and push the fact that collaboration trumps competition. You know, I got what you need, you got what I need. Let's reason together. So I want to thank everybody for the show. Another month ahead.
Yes, I do want to say this. This is September. And it's Suicide Awareness Month. So we can work together to bring awareness. I've been posting, I started yesterday.
Okay.
So we want to make sure that we bring awareness. Monique Davis was one of our guests.
Oh my God.
And she has an organization. Yes, her story is amazing. And it deals with her son, you know, how he was bullied and suicide became the issue. And now she's helping other people. So we want
around
to bring
the world.
Yes, around the world. So we wanted to bring it to other people's attention
Thank you for that.
that every 40 seconds someone commits suicide.
Mm.
And life is already short, and God loves you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the time to take your forever nap.
Take your forever nap.
Yes, so we want to make sure that we bring awareness to it, that you reach out and you make that call 988. You find someone to talk to, whether it's your pastor, a trusted friend, get the help that you need.
Wow, that's
So I
good.
just wanted to make that point for this month.
Wow, and we definitely gonna even on our Facebook page, Facebook, we can just start posting stuff about this because we want to make sure we be a solution to someone's problem here at this talk show. Would you say anything, Shalita? You have anything you want to say?
No, I'm just excited to be back with you ladies.
We definitely miss you, man. We miss you. Clapping. All right, guys, listen, come on, Grace, and take us away. We're excited, guys. We'll see y'all next week, same time, same location. Listen, we have a live audience. You guys are welcome to come in and hang out with us. We have a good time while we're here. Thank you so much. We love y'all.
One thing, with our guest here tonight that came with Pastor Crawford, her granddaughter, so we appreciate you being in the audience.
Thank you for
She's
coming.
an expiring nurse. She goes to Lee High School, and I got a chance to chat it up with her. So we're looking for her to do some great things. So, and also go visit Sweet G's in Opelika. That amazing soul food restaurant. So we're coming. The Convo should go.
We should go.
We should go. Would you have us?
Of course. She had
We
my
won't
fish
cut
fry
our
hard. All right, guys. Stay tuned. See y'all next Monday night, same location. Be blessed.
Yes, happy Labor Day.